And I promised you Gradebook, and I do want to talk about Gradebook. So Gradebook is probably one of the most convoluted areas inside Moodle because there's different terminologies that just don't make sense natively, and that's where the question mark's really going to come in handy. So to get to your gradebook to begin with, on the left-hand side, you're going to see something that says grades. If I click on that, pull that over, it brings me into my gradebook. Now, a lot of folks just stick here, and it doesn't really give you everything that you need. You can change the way you view your gradebook right up here. So I like to look at Simple View. Click on that. And these are going to show you all the different categories and different activities and resources you have in here. So the activities I made, here's assignments, here's some quizzes. I have my quiz that I've just made here, the introduction essay we've made, and I can change the point values if I need to for things that are manual entry. So if you don't have an activity that is inside Moodle, which not every activity does. Let's say you guys are doing a project in Google Sites where everybody's creating their own website, or they're working within Google Docs. You can have a manual entry for each individual grade item. If you are doing something that is an activity based inside Moodle, you don't have to worry about it. You can see it automatically has added them here to my gradebook with the point value that I set up in the settings at the beginning. Now you could add categories as well. So categories, as I mentioned before when we were going through the settings, you can have things like quizzes or participation. The simpler the better. You don't want to get too crazy with this, but if I'm constantly doing a 10% participation grade, or if I'm doing a category for forums, I can change that. I just go down here to add a category, what the category name is going to be. So for instance, let's say we want to do, this is going to be essays. Now, aggregation is where people get confused. And I will admit, I am the first one that is guilty of this when it comes to aggregation. And if anybody asks me an aggregation question, I usually will go through and use this little question mark. This tells me what it means to have that aggregation method. Most people are looking to just do a mean of grades, meaning all of the grades are added up and then divided to get the average. If you wanted to do a sum of grades, that means they're just adding them up with no scales or anything. So I'm just going to do a simple mean of grades. Hit Save Changes. And so now everything within that category, which I don't have anything yet, is just going to be averaged out. So as I add essays in there, I can do that. You can also hide different things. So you see these eyeballs right here. If I click on the eyeball, that means it's hiding that from the student, not from me. So if I see it light gray, that means I see that category, I see that gradebook item, but the student does not. This is useful for if you are grading and in the middle of grading through essays, which can take some time. You're going to have always those students that go, Johnny got the grade on Tuesday, but I didn't get mine until Thursday. Where's mine at? So you can hide it until you're all ready to go. You can also rearrange these. So if I wanted to quickly, again, I'm just hitting that cross. You'll see a lot of these icons are familiar throughout. I can choose I want to put this right underneath the personal log. This is how your gradebook displays your students too, so it's not just for you. Now we've talked about adding manual grade items in. So if I wanted to add a manual grade item, I just click Add a Grade Item. Item names, let's say we want to make this the Google Sites project. What's the value of it? So do I do a scale or text like an A, B, C, or do I want to just do a value? So we'll do value. We're going to give this the ability to have a 50 points minimum grade. Hidden and locked. Locked means that it can't be changed. So this is not for the students, this what part is for you. So if you are putting grades in, you don't want to accidentally change something, you can lock it. That can sometimes get folks into trouble. Try using your hidden more if you're looking at trying to hide it from students. I can put what categories. We're going to put this under essay. I know it's not an essay, but we'll put it there. Hit Save Changes. And so now I have a manual grade item here for Google Sites project so that I can enter in. Now you can notice there's no students on this list. This is just editing the categories and the assignments themselves. I'm going to go to Grader Report. So you can see here's my student. If I have a list of 30 students, they're going to all show up in here. As I scroll to the right, so again, I'm scrolling here to the right-hand side because there's so many different assignments. If you have a smaller monitor, you will have to use the scroll bar to move back and forth between your assignments here. And you can see the ones that already have graded items. So I've taken this quiz here. There's 5 points. The student took 2 points on that one. And the ones I have manually in here, so like here's my Google Sites project, I can say this person got 40 points, hit update, and just like that, it's graded. Underneath Gradebook as well, you can see there's other different settings and views that you can see. So if I wanted to look at scales Scales is useful for changing things instead of a point value. You wanted to quickly choose like a 1 through 5 scale, or you wanted to do something with participation. They can be a little tricky to set up because you do want to make sure that you are you're adding values to your words and not just words themselves. But when you add a new scale, it walks you through that whole process with the little question mark here. And we also have that inside the development course with the activities that you can learn more about.